Yeah. I'm at Garett Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address, and now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. They're fighting in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
Okay, so you guys, so sorry about that. I'll explain in a second here. Right, that was sorry for being 45 minutes late for that. So, hey Adam.
Not my fault.
No, because Adam was going to be arriving at 7:00, which I knew. So this is what happened. Is that okay? So Ginger was here with me, and we were just talking, and I'm like, "Hey, Dottie, on your way." But anyways, so Dottie, she's been on Mel's live before, so didn't think nothing about it, right? Okay, see you in a minute, Dottie. And she kept saying it's spiraling and spiraling. So Dottie needs to download Safari in order to come on the live. So right now, Ginger is trying to help Dottie out, who's probably stressing out big time because she's been trying to come on the live for the last, over half an hour here. So we thought that, well, we know that you guys have waited long enough. So we'll sit here and talk to you guys first. We'll talk about some Delphi. And right now, Ginger is trying to help Miss Dottie out. Hey, Adam, I only thought to do that the other day. You see your channel come up there?
Oh,
I know. Adam, why didn't you tell me before? I wasn't even thinking about it. And then I added Debs as well to it. So it should do a rotation there. So sorry, you guys. If she can't get it downloaded, then have her call in. True that. Not quite the same. But I guess she could call in, couldn't she? Too. But yeah, so yeah, you know what I've noticed about Dottie and Ginger and Cher is that they're all night owls. They literally will answer me back when it's like 1 or 2 and 3 in the morning their time. And
I won't even do that.
She can't download Safari.
She should be able to. She should be able to copy and link the paste into Chrome.
Yeah. Let's see, Ginger. Can you hear? Okay. Let me see here. Give me Adam. Talk to these fine people, would you? 1 sec.
Yeah. Sorry, you guys. I came into I was like, oh, I had no idea anything was going on, so I apologize. But hey, Ray Jones. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Callie. Good to see you. Hey, Fibro. Hey, Fibro again. Hey, Shelly. Fibro Ray. Wow, were you guys waiting or something? Hey, Diamond Eyes. Diamond Eyes, are you really moving to North Carolina? Hey, Mustang 1965. Good to see you. Ray's telling dirty jokes in the chat. It's a crime shame. Hey, sees through. Good to see you. Fibro, Diamond Eyes, Ray, Shelly. Wow, you guys were waiting a while. Hey, Lacey, good to see you. Hey, Deb, good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. I know I talked to you today, but I don't think I asked you. Uh-oh, guys, we've got trouble in the house. I don't think she can be controlled. Hey, Mel. Thought you meant tomorrow night. Hey, Charmaine. Hopefully you're staying safe from the fires up there, Charmaine. And hey, Cammie. Oh, and Val's Variety Venue. Hey, I like your name. Lacey says, Aspen, what do you think of Brian Koberger being indicted? Honestly, I was surprised by it a little bit because they've been pretty adamant that they didn't feel like a grand jury was necessary. But logistically, I understand why they're doing it. And I actually think it's probably a smart move. As much as I would like to have that week-long mini trial where we get to hear all the stuff in the pre-trial hearing where he puts a bond in, the prosecution is smart for being able to avoid that, because this also means they don't have to hand over all the discovery right away. But at least now, I guess Monday, we will be getting a hearing where he will enter a bond this coming Monday now, not a bond, he'll enter a plea. Sorry. Cammie says, I'm too chatty for slow mode. I'm sorry, Cammie. Cold Treat says, as Ruckus says, I do what I want. I need to figure out who this Ruckus guy is, because, from the little bit I've seen, he seems to be a pretty cool dude, but I don't really know much about him. But he seems to be kind of all over right now. He must not like me. Let's see. Try saying hi back to you guys for slow mode. Aw. Surprised you guys aren't talking about Idaho news. Well, look, there we did. I honestly, I saw the Brian Koberger stuff last night, right before I went to bed, and then today I was so busy trying to get the Richard Allen stuff from Carroll County, which I'm in a little bit of a fight with the Carroll County Clerk's office right now. Well, they don't know this, but I emailed them this morning at 9:00 saying, in my sweet little self way I do, I'm like, hey, how are you this morning? Can you send me the Richard Allen restraining order motion and the temporary injunction? No reply. So I wait. And then like 11:45, I emailed them again. I was like, hey, just following up. And then I waited and 5 o'clock came and they didn't email me back. So I don't think the county clerk's office likes me very much. Now, I'm sure they probably were inundated with requests for that information, so I'm not mad at them.
Adam, 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Dottie, can you hear me? Okay, so we're going to have to do it this way. Ginger, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So obviously, like I said, we're going to have to do it this way. And I got Dottie through Messenger coming through. So sorry for the headache that you're going through, Dottie. I had no clue because you were on Mel's live before, and you would have had to come in through StreamYard as well. So I just thought that you had you already kind of knew how to log in, but I guess you have an Android and you can't seem to load Safari. And yeah, so I'm sorry that it has to be this way then. I am not a technology person, okay? No, this is where it's like Adam, Lewis, anybody but me. Okay. Can Can you guys in chat hear Dottie in the background? You guys, yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna see if chat. Hey, Jen, Mel.
I know.
Mel, how come she made it on your stream, Dottie? And I can't. What was the secret? Yeah. Okay.
I can't hear Dottie.
You can't hear Dottie?
No, I couldn't.
Oh. Okay. Adam.
Do you have your phone on speakerphone?
Well, it's on Messenger.
Oh.
Yeah, you can
Is it
still
on-
put it on. Well,
Is it on speaker or is it on your computer?
It's on my computer.
Oh, you should do it on your phone.
Oh,
On Messenger, and then you can put it on. You can put your speaker on and put your phone just sitting next to the computer.
mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So,
Come on, Adam, get him.
I'm no
We're all.
technology.
Look, we don't know nothing. Where's Mel?
okay, let's see. Hold on a second. So, do I have to end the call and then put her on my phone?
Right, just use your phone and call her on Messenger, and then put your phone on speaker.
Okay. She just opened the link on her phone or computer. Yeah, I don't know, Mel. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, Dottie, I'm going to call you back in a second. Okay. Okay. Bye. You know what? Sometimes you guys just have to ride the wave. You know, stuff happens.
And I'm sure Dottie's had a big day, a long day too. So
yeah,
I'm thankful she's being patient, and
yeah,
I'm grateful she's here.
Just gonna grab my iPad because my iPhone doesn't have as much battery life.
Sunny, not prepared. Just kidding. Yeah, and GP is Ginger. So thank you, Ginger, for being here. Did you go this morning, Ginger?
Yes.
You did. So, I mean, I'll wait for, Sunny and Dottie. But were there a lot of people there?
No. But Garett's grandma and mom was there.
Were they?
Yes.
Had you met them before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Plenty of times.
Let me just see if they can hear you now. So, Dottie, just say something like, say, Sunny, you're so sexy. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Hi, Dottie.
Can you hear Ginger?
Hi.
Okay, perfect.
I can hear
Hi there, Dottie.
Okay. Just test it out one more time. Sunny, you're very sexy. Just say that so we can make sure that we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sunny, you're very sexy.
Okay.
What the hell?
And Adam, he's okay too. No, just kidding. Okay. I'm gonna let Adam. Let me do this, Adam. I'm just gonna kind of keep quiet. I'm gonna let Dottie, Ginger, and you maybe ask some questions while we're doing it kind of this awkward way tonight. But I'm holding you like a pizza in my hand. So I'm just gonna hush and let Adam and Ginger and you guys talk about today for a little bit.
Welcome, Dottie. Ginger was just kind of telling us that this morning that there you said there weren't a lot of people there, but Garett's grandma and who else was there?
His mom.
Okay. So did you have any interaction with them?
No, not at all. They sat in their car.
Oh, okay. Because Garett was not there, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Miss Dottie, was it just you there this morning, or were your daughters there?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Adam.
Who was all there this morning from your family?
It's just my daughter, Cher, and then Ginger and Cheryl.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you ladies want to talk about it? Because I don't know. I haven't talked to either of you today, so I don't even know what happened at the hearing this morning, other than they've scheduled another hearing for August.
Right. Well, today was just kind of a preliminary thing to figure out if they needed another lawyer on the case or not, but they decided that what was already in place was fine. We didn't have anything to do with Kirts being there. He wasn't on Zoom. So it was pretty much just listening to the judge and the prosecutor and the lawyer, working out their deals. And that was the extent of today's.
How long did it last?
Maybe 45 minutes. I don't think it was a full hour, but it was a short time.
So here's what the deal is. So Cody Spear, his family was paying him to be Garett's lawyer. Well, they're not paying no more. So now he is being made a public pretender, basically, so he can get paid. But the judge wants to keep him basically as the same lawyer because he knows the case.
Okay, so was this when they had that motion to appoint a special prosecutor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was the outcome? Did they come to a decision today?
Yeah, that he's going to be the same. I mean,
Okay.
He's going to stay the lawyer.
Okay.
He's just going to get paid by White County now instead.
Okay.
So that's where that all comes in.
Miss Dottie, did you guys meet with the prosecutor before court this morning or anything? Did you have any knowledge going into this?
Of course, we talked with the prosecutor, after we were done in the courtroom. He told us that, he's moving forward, but it's going to be a slow process. Nothing like this goes fast. So they rescheduled the June date to August. And so our next hearing is going to be in August.
The 20th, I believe, right?
17th.
17th, I'm sorry. Sonny, do you have any questions?
Nope.
No.
Go ahead, Dottie.
I just, this whole thing has been 4 years coming. I'm just so thrilled that at least we're moving forward. It's going to be a slow process, but at least it's moving. And that is such a blessing for me and my family. Ray he was just such a caring person. He was a nurse. And I've gotten messages from coworkers and at his services. Now, we were not able to show Ray at his services because his bruises were so severe on his face that they couldn't cover him up. And that was heartbreaking. It was very heartbreaking. But there were people there from coworkers from 30 years prior that came up to me and said, what a wonderful nurse he was, what a wonderful person he was. So many of them came up. It was heartwarming. I mean, a mother always thinks that of their child, but to hear other people and from 30 years prior who had worked with him, he was just a caring person. I have text messages from people who were patients of his and a mother of, one of the patients and said, oh my goodness, that she just knew that when he was on duty that the mother was getting the best care possible because he was so caring. Wanted to share pizzas. The nurses were getting pizza one night. He said, do you guys want some too when we order? And they said, no. She said later he come walking in with pizza for them. He was just a caring person. And he befriended, these two people that got into his good graces and his confidence. He fed them meals. He let them come in and sleep a couple times because they claimed they were homeless. And he let them in the winter come in and spend the night in the warm house. They would come in, say that they needed showers. They had showered in 3 days. So he just befriended them and opened his home to them. And, because of his kindness, he lost his life.
And I know it's so heartbreaking. Anyone that sees Ray Hanish, it reminds Ray, in a sense, in the other case of Suzanne Morphew, one that you probably don't know too much about because that one's out of Colorado. But all you had to do was look at Ray and the aura around him. I mean, even still, when I look at Ray's picture, he just makes me smile because he has such a bright aura. It doesn't matter what picture you're looking at with Ray, his aura is just surrounding him. You just see it. There's no missing that type of.
Nicole has it too, or had it too.
Yeah, and so me and Ginger were talking for a little bit while we were waiting for you and stuff like that, and just deep empath, breaks my heart, breaks our heart, because as a mother, no matter what, let me just ask you, actually both, to be honest with you, when Mother's Day comes around, I'll start with you, Dottie, first, and then we'll go to Ginger. When Mother's Day comes around, exactly what is your feelings as Mother's Day comes around, knowing that you have your loved ones that have passed, but yet, you still have your living children. But how does Mother's Day look for you when it comes around?
It's an emptiness. Of course, I love my children, love all of my children dearly, but there's an emptiness. And in 2016, we lost our 45-year-old daughter to an embolism.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
So I've got 2 children in heaven, and you miss them. You just can't help but miss them. It's a big emptiness.
Do you do anything special on Mother's Day? Meaning, do you light a candle? I don't know.
I've got candles. I've got a little corner of my living room set up, with pictures and candles and memorabilia, things that they like. I've set up a little corner in my living room that, kind of big remembrance of them. So they're in the living room with me daily.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And for you, Ginger, is there anything that you like? How does Mother's Day feel for you, first of all, when it comes?
Like Dottie said, it's an emptiness. It really is. My boys are my boys, but my daughter was extra, because she was a female with me. So, it's a total emptiness. But I also have a room of nothing but Melissa, but I have her all over my house.
Yeah.
I've got pictures everywhere. I have her urn in my bedroom. That's where it stays. I tell her good morning. I tell her good night. I kiss her urn and everything.
Yeah.
And I have also some Shasta daisies outside that was planted when she died. And they have grown so much now. And
what year did you lose your daughter?
Pardon me?
What year did you lose your daughter?
21.
That's right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's all right. Come June 24th, she'll be gone for 2 years. So it's right after Nicole. So
yeah,
basically for me. So losing these girls was kind of hard because all these girls used to run together and be together and babysitting each other's kids, and grandma, of course, babysitting kids so they could go out, and it's hard. So I agree with Dottie. It's really hard. We got to look at their pictures, and that's all we got. We got our memories, we got pictures, we got special things that we've done, or it's just memories. So it's all memories.
I know it's not the same. I know.
No, it'll never be the same.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, I get it, because it's too, even though you guys lost people in your lives to horrific, like meaning for Nicole and for Ray. Those were two horrific crimes, against them.
That adds even another element to it, I think.
Yeah. And sorry, Melissa, you said the term of what she had passed from. I can't remember the term you used.
Show deed.
Oh, is that what you said? Oh, I thought you had called it. Sorry, my bad, Ginger, because I thought you had said it was some sort of. I don't even know what I thought you said. To be honest with you,
she was way depressed after she got ran over by a car, broke her femur, and then she got hooked on drugs and everything, and then Nicole happened, and that made it worse. So, and she kept saying it was unfair that she was still here, and I tried to control that, but that wasn't happening, I guess. So.
Yeah. Like I said, I know both of you guys. Like I said, the pain in my life is nothing compared to what you guys have suffered,
Right.
And that, honestly, I just want to say, and Dottie and to share as well there, for me personally, I mean, and I know Adam will feel the same and everybody else that's in chat too, I love it when people, their strength, right, is that sometimes people don't realize how much strength that they have and after what they've gone through. Because I try to sit there and put myself in your shoes or anyone's shoes and think to myself how would I handle it. And I know, like I said, I have one son, and I would just be, I don't even know. I can't. I've not been in your shoes to really say, just knowing that I really, the people that come to this channel that know who Dottie is and share, and yourself, Ginger, love you guys because you're down to earth, genuine. You speak from your heart. And for me, it's just devastating listening to your guys' stories, right? You guys are so strong. You guys are so strong. And that's what I admire, is that through all the adversities, just your guys' strength. And even it's funny to me sometimes how, and I want to say this for Cher. I think she's in the chat right now, right? I mean, you guys, I know you guys pulled together because of Nicole and what happened to Ray and stuff like that. But like Cher, she's been, we've talked quite a few times, throughout the last year and a half or so, and the strength that she has, it's, it's tough, and I know it's tough on her, and I know it's tough on you guys, but Cher, like I said, she's been fighting for the justice for Ray too, and it's just the strength, so Cher, I'm sure you're watching this right now. We love you, love your strength, to be honest, because like I said, most people have not gone through what your families have gone through. There are some, because there's a lot of people that come into true crime because they have, a story to tell, kind of like Fig Solves, we were talking about this the other day. He lost his cousin and, ended up in true crime, not because he was planning on it, but, again, sometimes because of people's stories and their compassion for people and, being a voice. And that's what you guys are doing, is being a voice. Anyways, I just want to say that I truly admire your guys' strength.
Well, since we've lost our family members, I've also gained another mom and a couple sisters here. That's how I feel about it. So, yeah, we've lost, but we've bonded together, and now I have a bigger family. So that's how we feel about each other, right, Mom?
Right, Mom?
That's right. I mean, unlikely situation to make somebody, love each other. Those family members, we just bonded. We belong together. Yep. And you talk about our strength, but I have to say that a lot of our strength comes from, of course, God first. He keeps me going. But the outpouring of love from family, friends, and total strangers, that's where our strength comes from. To know that somebody out there cares, that they're praying, That gives us a lot of strength too.
Yeah.
So for everybody that has been so loving in 4 years, people kind of lose interest after a while. It's like, oh my gosh, and kind of drop off. But the people that have stayed connected and, prayed for us and loved us and given us encouragement, that brings a lot of strength to me.
Yeah.
I know I appreciate that tremendously. And I wish I could tell each one individually. There's so many of them, but I hope they get the message that they're loved also, that they're very important in our lives.
Yeah. It's a two-way street there, isn't it? And honestly, it's sad what has happened, but at the end of the day, regardless, is that life still moves on. So I'm so glad that through the sadness, that exactly what Ginger was just saying there, and you're saying there, Dottie, that you guys came to know each other and came to grow. I mean, Ginger, Dottie. Did you just say you loved me more than Ginger? Is that what I heard?
No
Oh,
way.
I'm your closest daughter, even closer than. Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry, Ginger.
No, sir.
That's what she said. You didn't. No. But
I'm her baby girl, but you better watch it now.
Come at me through the computer. Let's see how fast we can get here. No, just kidding.
There's a lot of times I've talked to Dottie. Just, whatever, just out of the blue, I'll say, hey, how you doing? I feel that I have to keep that touch now because she is part of my family. And that's how it always will be now.
Yeah. Well, we understand. And like you said, you can't imagine. And you can't. I mean, my neighbor lost her daughter. And I had said to her at that time, I hadn't lost my daughter yet. And I said, I can't imagine what I would do. I have no idea what I would do if I lost a child. And I had to find out.
Yeah.
And then turned around and, lost a son. And in between that, I lost my husband. So, in 16, I lost my daughter, and then in 17, my husband, and then 2 years later, my son was murdered.
That's what we share.
But you keep going. There's no plan B. There's no plan B. That's all I've got to say. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not getting the option whether you can be strong or not. You just have to be.
From God and from the outpouring of love from the community that gives us strength.
Yeah, you need that, to be honest.
Yes.
Sometimes I've always tried to do everything myself. Not like I was telling Ginger before the live. I have no problem helping other people, but I always found a hard time putting my stuff out there to the world, because as much as I could help or support somebody else, I had a hard time letting people help me or be there for me, because I just didn't feel like people wanted to hear, like my story or anything like that. I just was never one to do that. So I was saying to Ginger how this being on YouTube here, it's stuff that I would never usually share. I share because I know that it does like the support of other people. There's a very good group of people that follow us all the time, right, Ray Jones? No, there's others in there too, but you know what I mean. But honestly, and those ones truly mean the most, to be honest with you, of course, because all the time, doesn't matter, they're here, we're alive, regardless of what it is, and it's like it feels like your family. You just come into your family to talk, and just like you guys being on here, it's just one of those things. I never want it to be like structured. I just want it to be natural and organic and genuine and real, and so that's what I like about this channel. It's not structured in a way that's just here, let me ask you questions and block. It's just speaking from the heart, and anyways, but like I said, your guys' story on how you came together and how you still remain close to each other. It's a beautiful story. From a sad tragedy. It's a beautiful story to listen to. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well, among all of the blessings that we have are you and Mel and the ones that bring our story to the public.
Yeah.
That is a big blessing.
Yeah.
Blessing to us to, get our story out there. In Ray's case, it wasn't even known until Nicole, was murdered. And I, brought it to light. And then Dave Bangor, which was a reporter for one of the papers down there, did do a story on it. Nobody in his community even knew that anything had happened. It was quiet. It was quiet. It was just like something never happened. Oh, well, somebody was found dead in their apartment and we go on. Not one person in that community, and this was told to me by his landlady, knew that had happened.
Sad,
so,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was sad that it wasn't important to anybody other than his family,
right,
that he had been murdered.
Yeah.
And it was a tragic, murder, the way he was murdered.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just as in Nicole. My goodness, as a mother, I had somebody say, don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. I don't dwell on it. But my goodness, when you know what the last few minutes of your son's life was like, it just
eats you up.
It's just, I don't know. It's something that is really hard, really hard.
I agree, right, Ginger? Because same thing. Abby and Libby's story, Ray, Nicole, doesn't matter. It for me too. That's the part that hurts to think about, and that's the part that I have to block as soon as it comes to my mind, because no one, like I said, unless this happened to your child or someone that's really close to you,
nobody knows. Yeah, they don't know it.
Nobody
They don't
knows.
feels like they don't know none of it.
Right. Just like those parents are going through in Oklahoma this week that lost their 2 girls to that guy in the house that essayed and then killed all 7 of them. I mean, no one can understand what that would be like, to know what your child went through in the last moments of their life.
Right, because you don't know for sure, but you have a good. Do you know what I mean? Like, for instance, we know, and I know that Dottie, you have shared with me, how Ray was found, and again, it's kind of like how the end result, like where maybe he was and whatever, but you don't know truly what happened to him fully. And that's the part that's hard on the brain, is this is your child, or this is your niece in Ginger's case here, I mean, even her own daughter too, that OD'd, and you don't to sit there and think of what they were feeling, what they were going through.
Right. The last 30 minutes or hour, what were they thinking? What was going on? You don't know none of that. So you assume by what you're told, but love you, babe.
Yeah.
Good night, Mel. We love you.
Yeah. Good night, Mel.
But we don't know what they're thinking or what they're going through or what has happened. That's the part that you dwell on, right, Dottie? Am I not right? We dwell on what the fuck just happened,
Yes.
What were they thinking? Yes. What were they?
Yeah.
My thing is, damn it, I didn't get to say I love you or anything. I feel robbed of it, Same way with Cheryl, with Nicole, and Dottie with Ray. We didn't get to say goodbye. We didn't say I love you. We didn't get none of that.
No.
So, that's what hurts the most too.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Because that hole's never going away.
Never going away. I don't care how many shrinks I see. It's never going away. And
because no one can answer that for you.
Same. The story's always going to be the same. What were they thinking? What were they, why? That's the biggest question. Why?
Now,
Can I ask a question?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Adam.
You don't have to answer this if you don't want, but if you had the if you knew that he was going to tell you the truth, would you want to know?
Who are we talking about, though?
Garett, the only person that would know.
You think I'd want to know?
No, I said the only person that would want to know. If like he would tell you the truth, would you want to know?
Me? That's a hard question to answer.
I know that's so you don't have to answer it.
Because sometimes I do want to know sometimes, and then other times I'm like, man, dude, I don't want to know.
I would agree, Johnny. What would you say to that? If
you know, I think maybe it wouldn't be as bad as what I feel it is. I don't know.
Right.
Yes.
No. I mean, my imagination of my son fighting for air the last few minutes of his life, being bound where he couldn't even fight. And the bruises. They said the bruises possibly could be because he had laid there from like a Wednesday till a Saturday. And, that could cause the bruising. But when he was bruised so badly that we couldn't have a viewing, what happened to him? So sometimes I wonder if I imagine the worst and it wasn't that bad.
I get
I'm not sure if I would rather know the 100% truth or maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. I don't know.
That's a catch-22 kind of, isn't it? Really, it really is because at the end of the day, I mean, let me put. If I had to answer that one, even though it didn't happen to me, that's the part that hurts. Sorry, Adam, what?
No, sorry.
The part that hurts me the most is when I'm, again, and I was talking to Ginger about this, is when I'm thinking of, so for instance, Ray. Okay, yes, of course, I'm sad that what happened to Ray. But instantly when I know that somebody has had a death, my mind goes straight to the family, because I guess in my head I know that when somebody dies, there's no coming back from it. So now it's the family members that have to deal with this tragedy for years. They have to deal with years of, again, the sadness of losing their child, or, in Ginger's case, the niece, and, that. And so I don't even think that, I don't know, Dottie and Ginger, because like you said, Dottie, right? Maybe it wasn't as bad, but I don't know that I would. It's already bad enough that you have to think that. I don't know if that's the part that I try to push out of my brain when I'm working with cases, is I don't want to have to think about what possibly happened to Ray or Nicole or Abby and Libby in those last minutes. It comes to my mind, but as soon as it comes to my mind, I have to push it back out, because I don't like the thought of that sadness. So I don't even know either, because that's kind of a loaded question, really, because it might have been not as bad as you think, because the mind typically goes to the worst. But for instance, Nicole's, I mean, she was literally wrapped up in a friggin' carpet, put in this hunting shack and taped at the mouth and bound and choked and stuff like that, I don't know that I would really want to know all the details. I don't know. And then Ray, I mean, I don't know if I've never said, you've told me where Ray was found. I don't know if it's something that you're open to saying or not, or if you can't say.
But he was found bound to his bed, and his death was strangulation by what they call litigation, which means something was used.
Yeah.
To strangle him.
Yeah, ligature strangulation.
So,
yeah. I've never said that myself, because I know that you told me, but correct. We know that in Ray's case that there was basically, you said he was doing spring cleaning and that everything looked like a party had happened there. Ashley Garth's cell phone was there. And, can I just ask you to for the others to know too? So, because it was you and Roxanne that went in. Or did Cher go in as well?
No, it was my, actually, it was my middle daughter and her husband and a daughter. It was actually my husband's daughter, but she's my daughter, her and her husband. So the five of us went in. We had to empty his apartment out. And the landlady wanted that done immediately. And I said, could I at least please have his services before we do that? You know?
Right.
Yeah, she wanted it done right now, you know? And going in there and having to empty out his 2-bedroom apartment of everything that he owned was, I could only do it one day. I couldn't go back the second day.
I understand. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And everything was meticulous except the living room and the kitchen. I mean, there was apples and onions on the kitchen floor, and he had told me. I mean, he had Facebooked and everything. That Tuesday before, and he said, I've been up since 6 o'clock cleaning, and he said I've been spring cleaning, but they partied in the living room apparently because there was I couldn't tell you how many red Solo cups, cigarette ashes on the coffee tables, on the end tables. It was like they didn't even try to use an ashtray. You couldn't put your finger anywhere that there wasn't cigarette ashes, cigarette butts, red Solo cups. It was just terrible. The kitchen was a mess. I don't know if they went in and cooked themselves something to eat afterwards or what. I don't know. It just, like I said, I don't know if I want to know what all went on there because it was after him spending the entire day spring cleaning and then for it to look that way. So,
you know, I know. I truly would love to know the story. I've always felt like Ray's story was bits and pieces that I've been told, but never having the complete story. For instance, I think one of the things that we don't know really is, was it Ashley Garth and Garett Kirts? Was it Nicole and Garett Kirts?
Well, Nicole was there.
She was there, but was she that? But like, you know how they keep saying that, Ginger, about someone pretending or someone being pregnant, and that's why they were.
Yeah, Nicole couldn't have any more kids, so we knew it wasn't her.
Yeah. Well, I know, and that's where I get confused, right? I get confused with the whole Ashley Garth thing, and her, like, meaning her phone, and like I said, it's kind of like there's that piece of you, regardless, like Abby and Libby's story, you know, like Ray's, like Nicole's. Well, you know, that you just kind of want to know the story of it, like why, like what happened that day that. You know,
well,
that
I know what happened after Nicole died. Hell, they all stayed at the trailer and partied.
Yeah, I don't think I ever, like, Mikey Hiddle did a live with us, Ginger. Mm-hmm. And do you recall that name, Mikey Hiddle?
Yeah, I do know that name.
Yeah, because he was there.
He dropped Garett off, didn't he?
He dropped Garett off. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
That's what he said, I think.
He said that
can't be right, because Nicole drove him there. Or Nicole drove him there in her car.
I believe you, yeah. But I think he said that. I think he said he dropped Garett off.
Yeah, he did. He said, because what Mikey had said, Ginger, was something like, so he was a person that wasn't charged. And neither was Palladino, or for that matter, even though I totally believe Palladino had everything to do with Nicole, and they just didn't have the proof with him. Because if you look in Ashley Garth's, her appeal, they specifically talk about Palladino and how they were planning months prior to Ray of getting rid of Nicole, with Palladino and Kirts and whatever that she had to go. But anyways, so that always bugs me with the Palladino stuff going on. But Mikey Hiddle had said like that he drove Garett Kirts there, and that Garett Kirts had made a comment, almost like a comment about that he had done this, that he had done something to somebody else. And we thought he was talking about Ray, like Ray Hanish. And because we said nurse, and he's like, no, I don't recall it being a nurse. I recall it being
dentist or doctor,
like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. I think it was the doctor or lawyer. Yeah. And we're like, oh, okay. And so he said will always regret the fact that he drove Garett Kirts there, because I think it was who was it? I think it was Talitha Beckley or something like that asked Mikey to pick Garett up and take him there to the trailer. Thank you, Lake Michigan. Thanks so much. So Mikey Hiddle was on the show, and that live is still up somewhere. And he was telling us,
I can watch that.
Yeah,
because I can probably pull out all kinds of bullshit that just that.
Yeah.
Well, and he
came back. I don't know.
Right. You know? He said he was using then. So I mean, I believe you, of course. So I mean, who knows if maybe his memory either is faulty for, maybe he's lying, or maybe he doesn't remember things the way they actually happened.
He did say, Ginger, that he was the actual one that turned Garett Kirts and that in, that he felt basically morally obligated, that, is according to what he said.
I'm there with you too, Aspen. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they know who I am. So they know who Cheryl are. And I don't know. Look, we showed up to the courthouse one day. Okay. And Mickey Hiddle was there. But he was supposed to be called in as a witness. And somehow he never got called in as a witness.
Mm.
So how did that happen? Because I was waiting. I even told Cheryl, there's Mickey Hiddle. So I don't know how that all happened. But he evidently told them whatever he needed to tell them before we went into the courtroom. And then he left.
I mean, for all we know, he could have played a bigger part than what he has said. We don't know, because
right. I just thought it was weird. And that they were partying that night after she was killed, because they tried to take her car and sell it. Garett did. And I know that that there was pictures taken of them all partying that day. I'm like, really? I was so freaking effing in those pictures. I'm like, are you serious? How can they just do that after they killed her?
Well, that's just it. These people have no conscience. They're pieces of shit.
Right.
They have no souls.
No.
They have no souls.
No. None.
Yeah.
Nobody asked to be killed, but let's, okay, today we're going to kill this person, and then we're going to party later on. Meet up with us, guys. I'm like, what kind of people are those?
Yeah.
Addicts.
No souls. No
not that all addicts are like that, but you know
selfish,
what I mean.
Right.
Don't care. Don't care. And like I said, that I know we were talking before the live here, and unfortunately, due to Nicole's life being lost, I'm so glad that Ashley and Garett Kirts are exactly where those pieces of shit belong. Because
yes, I believe they are exactly where they need to be. Yes.
They would have took somebody else's life.
Oh.
Yes, I believe that too.
For sure. I believe that, and Dottie, and question, I believe that Garett Kirts was well on his way to becoming a serial killer if he wasn't deemed one already, because, obviously he hasn't been found guilty of Ray's, but we know that, he's admitted the fact that even though it's through, accidental strangulation, during whatever, we know for Nicole, guilty. And if what Mikey Hiddle was saying, and there was somebody else, I think it's 3 that makes a serial killer. But either way, if he wasn't, he was well on his way. I think it was just that's just the thing too, Ginger and Dottie, right? Like, these people go on, like you said, party afterwards, like there's no care in the world. Because Nicole Ray meant nothing. You know what I mean? Besides to rob them, to kill them, to, take their life, like I said. And that's the part that's hard, is when your child is deemed as like just so dispensable like that. Like, oh, took his life. Oh, let's party it up. Let's go sell. Oh,
see, that's what hurts us more than anything.
Yeah.
Don't treat them like they human beings, because they was family. They were friends with other people. They were everything to everybody else but them.
And I think, I would.
Oh, sorry, what, Dottie?
Well, at the time, like of Ray's murder, the prosecutor at that time had told us that he was sure Ashley was not at Ray's apartment because she was supposed to have been incarcerated at that time. Now, I don't know.
She wasn't,
that she was incarcerated at that time. And so there was no way that she could have been at Ray's apartment. But then, of course, it's known fact that she was, there at Nicole's. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, sorry, Adam, Adam, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say, I think that, I've of course not gone through what either of you ladies have gone through, but I would think that if you could probably do one thing, it would be to let your loved one know that they weren't alone in that moment. And I know there's no way you can do that, but no one wants to think about their loved one being by themselves in a situation like both Ray and Nicole were in.
No.
I just, and again, this is what makes me so mad and so passionate. Like I said, your child is your child. Whatever, your family member. I know, like I said, that it's Ginger's niece we're speaking of. Same idea, right? It's like my nieces to me. They're like my own children, that type of thing. But it's again, that's. I hate the fact, like I was saying to Ginger, is that in cases, it's almost like the energy of the loved ones is gets placed in my heart. I'm feeling their sadness, even though I haven't gone through it. But as a human being, as a caring person, as a deep empath, it kills me. It just kills me to know that you guys have to go through this anguish, because this wasn't of a natural death, a natural cause, which you can handle hard, but still easier than knowing that they were violently, that their lives were taken, and that they just didn't give a shit. They just didn't give a shit about the wrath to the family, to what they've done. That's the part.
Right. And they went on partying.
Yeah. Right. And this is another thing, like in the open secret things with Christopher talking about his family. You piece of shit. Are you serious? You're worried about your family when y'all just killed Nicole? Are you serious? You dumped her.
Yeah.
Like she was nothing.
Yeah.
Just like Ray. They just killed him and left him, that's so wrong.
Yeah.
Right. They knew Nicole was in that shed and they knew Ray was in the next room.
Yes.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys have Delgado.
Yes.
Bring on the charges, because like I said, nothing will bring back either of them. But at least for Nicole, 55 years for Garett, 48 years old for pug Ashley Garth there. God, she's hideous to look at. I'm so sorry. I can't stand. They're just pieces of shit, like, and just self-blame. Like, if I would have met Ashley, I would have never done all these. Shut up. Shut up. Honestly, you're still responsible for your own actions, and stuff like that.
The kids are doing okay?
Yeah, we were just talking about those two earlier, Ginger? The boys?
Yes, they're doing good. Yes, they're doing good.
Good. And Dottie, who took Ray's cats? I've always wondered that.
Oh, okay. Dottie, did you hear that?
Oh, I'm sorry. His voice comes through a little bit muffled. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Dottie, who took Ray's cats?
Give me 1 sec, too.
His past?
His cats. Who took Ray's cats?
Well, I don't know. It was stolen and sold in Lafayette.
His cats?
His car.
No, his cats. Not his car.
Oh, his cat.
Yeah.
His cat?
Yeah.
Oh, the neighbor lady.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I always wondered that.
Actually, when he moved from Monticello to Reynolds, he wasn't allowed to have an animal at Reynolds.
Yeah.
And the neighbors had fallen in love with his cat. And they said, don't you worry about that cat. She's going to have a good home. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So they took his cat when he moved from Monticello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I truly hope that Ray does get his justice, you know, out of this. Absolutely. You know, it's been a long time coming for you. And it's just heartbreaking. Actually, this is heartbreaking because honestly, I'm sorry, but I mean, I really hate the judicial system. I think it really sucks, but I mean, you have to suffer and then you almost get victimized all over again by all these games that have to go on with, you know, just the continuous games. And then these things last years, you know, ridiculous amounts of times. And it's almost like, yeah, you have to go through all these steps, you know, of closure, like when one part closes and, you know, finally another part starts going again and then delays and then this, like, you know, like the pre-trial conference was today. Now it's moved to August, you know, and like I said, that stuff. And it's like being a victim of, you know, of already what's happened. And then literally having to spend 2, 3, even longer years, you know, and that's just hoping that you get justice. And that's why with Nicole, you know, nothing can bring her back, but they got a good amount of time, but Ray needs his, and because he's a separate entity, and thankfully this Delgado guy, you know, got what did he get? Grand jury indictment. And so, like I said, you know, it's just like anything. You just kind of wait. Go ahead.
You know, he was godsend for us because he took office in January, you know, 1st of January.
Yeah.
And I had the grand jury I think it was the end of January. I mean, he moved. He got in there and he moved. And, you know, he wasn't going to give up on this. He already had investigators, you know, getting information, had a grand jury set up. He's moving it as fast as he can. Of course, the system, you know, is the system and it slows you down, but he has been so wonderful.
Yes, he's a nice guy.
You know, when Mr. Guy was in office and we had 2 meetings with him and he was so condescending to us.
I know.
It was terrible. But I said to him, you know, like in the January of 19, before Ray was murdered, he had strangled Ashley and kept her, I think, a 3 days, you know, multiply strangled her.
Right.
So I said to Mr. Guy, I said, how, you know, he's a pro at this. Why did he not know when to stop with Ray or Nicole if it was an accident? Because he insisted, well, we can only try him on an accident because that's what he said it was. And I said, how could it be an accident when he's a pro at this? Yeah. And he said, well, let me tell you this. If I can shoot an apple off your head 100 times, and then the 101st time I miss and kill you, that's an accident. I'm like, really? That's your explanation for it? I mean, I just, it blew me away the way he'd come across with that.
You know, Dottie. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Dottie.
I said, it's just, you know, I just wonder how many people were at his mercy during his stay in office that didn't get justice for their family.
I just happened to be listening. Okay. So Murder Sheets was I don't know what they were doing the other day. They were like uploading tons of videos to YouTube. And I thought it was a new one. And I was like, oh, Dottie spoke to Murder Sheets again recently or something. And then I realized as I was listening to it that it was, from a couple of years ago, but they had just literally, they were uploading just a ton of videos, right? So I was thinking, oh, okay. I didn't know that Dottie and that had talked to Murder Sheets recently. And so so this is what I was going to say. I remember that. I remember you said 50 apples though, not 100 in your when you were talking, because you were saying like 51 apples, like right. And it's just the heartlessness of that. Like, imagine if it was your kid, right? And this happened to his kid, and then you say that story to him. How offensive, right?
Oh,
Like how ignorant and how offensive. Oh well, three times the charm. He missed, or he got them all 50 times, but oops, missed once, and that happened to be raised, and shit happens, and good on you, out the door you go, type of thing. And so
we had a video chat with our daughter in Virginia and her husband with one of our meetings, and she had brought up something about a case that she had watched, about things that could happen and they overlooked. And he said to her, she said, well, I don't know what TV shows you watch, but that's not real life. That's not how it works.
Right.
And I thought, how condescending. Now, my son-in-law, her husband, is a lawyer in Congress. Since moved up to a higher position, but he's, he's a smart cookie.
Yeah.
And here's Mr. Guy, telling her, well, I don't know what TV shows you watch, but that's not real life. I don't know. I'm just so glad that Mr. Delgado got in office. So glad.
I know. Sorry, Ginger. I had to mute you because I heard noise in the background there.
It's this dog.
Yeah, no. But absolutely. And I'm so grateful though that, regardless, I mean, obviously I'm a firm believer in, even if it's not right, and that the world works in mysterious ways, and I hope and pray that Ray gets his justice through all of this, through the long wait and the hurt and the pain, even though I know that the justice system can really smack people in the face badly as well. The corruption, the bullshit in Indiana. And I know it's not just Indiana, but there's a lot of corrupt, like when you sit there and spend time in true crime, and then you have people like Judge Fouts, who's just a corrupt judge, and and knowing a lot more from Tierra, which was the lady of the night, the escort of that. When she was telling me stories about lawyers and mayors and stuff like that, and that's the part that disappoints me, is that, like I said, or even with the Flora fires going on, and there's just so much corruption. And again, you just try to believe that. I'm one of those ones that I always try to believe that, the truth will come out, truth will prevail, that good will win over evil. That's obviously being pretty naive, because it doesn't happen that way. But I do feel at some point, regardless if it's on this earth or up in, for Garett Kirts and that down in hell, that at some point they'll face the karma that they deserve for the kind of human beings that they walked on this planet and became, Yes. Like I said, for us, for Ray's case, I would love to see, I just like to see the truth come out first and foremost, and that he gets what's coming to him again.
Yes.
There's no accident here with Ray. I mean,
No.
Anyone that believes that needs to go bang their head on a wall or something, because Garett Kirts took his life purposefully.
Yes.
None of this, during an act and stuff. No. Now, did you ever, just to ask you, Dottie, I just want to make sure, did you ever let, say, the prosecutor or whoever know that somebody still had, after Ray's death, was making emails using his name? Do you know?
No, I didn't. Okay. Because I hadn't seen any of that, but that's something that had slipped my mind.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's just the fact that, at least 6 or 7 accounts have been made using Ray Hanish's name to create emails after his death. So, and like I said, these cons and these, people that are sitting there, like I said, the Paladinos of the world and stuff like that, they're just, sorry guys, but they're pieces of shit.
Yes.
They hurt other people, like I said, too, like at the end of the day, like I said, Garett Kirts, whoever else was all involved in all of it, regardless, you left Ray there, and you stole his stuff. I think if I'm not mistaken, his TV and the car was
phone.
Yeah, but I think that the car and TV was at Mark Palladino's, if I'm not mistaken. That it was at the Palladino's house and they had to go get it. I think it was either way. Justice for Ray, like I said, you can't sit there and say it was an accident and then go, oh, we were so scared that, we still partied while he was, in the bedroom and we went and sold the stuff because we cared so much as human beings. No, rotten hell, people.
I mean, of course, my thoughts are totally different than others, being the mother, but I can't see where anyone would believe it was an accident, and then they turn around and steal, And something we don't even know because I tried and I got nowhere. He had gotten paid that day and deposited his check, and there was no money in his checking account.
Mm-hmm.
Now he could have spent it. He was not alive, but
of course not. They ripped him.
They must have.
They stole
his debit number, his password or something.
Yeah.
Stole his money.
Yeah. And they probably, right, exactly. They probably got that from him. Well, if you to give us this, well, we'll let you live or something like that. Who knows? And got his thing. And, if the others, I was going to just ask you something actually. Shoot. It was there, Dottie. Okay. Doesn't matter. Shoot. I hate that when that happens because it was a good question. To be honest with you.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
No.
It's just when my head's all over the map because I'm thinking about what you're saying.
You're thinking of that, Sonny. I think I'll be honest. There was a while that I really questioned whether Ray was going to get the justice he deserves.
Yeah.
Mainly because I was going off of the information of how the prosecutor treated you guys and how the prosecutor had kind of used Ray's lifestyle as, the reason he was killed. And I always was so disgusted at that then they didn't do an investigation, really. And, I wondered if they would ever get justice for Ray. And when they elected the new prosecutor and he took office in January, I really was amazed by it. It really was profound to me how important that office can be in a town and in a county.
Great.
Because just that one thing of a new prosecutor coming in, it opened the door for Ray to get the justice that he deserved and for you guys to get the justice you deserve.
Well, I'm just so glad that, we had to wait 4 years, but, things are moving now slowly, but I can deal with that. I hope. Right. I'm 79 years old. I just hope that I get to see the day that he gets his justice.
Yeah.
But I know it's coming.
Well, I wanted to ask you a question, both of you. When it comes to Garett Kirts, the big hunk of shit that he is. Okay, so for me personally, I couldn't forgive. Like, sorry, dude, you literally took somebody's life. For me, a lot of people will use their Christianity or whatever it is that they have and feel like that they have to forgive, in order to move on, and stuff like that. So for you guys, I don't know what all your religions are there or how you feel about it. Just meaning I don't even think about church or what part of that. I just think forgiveness. No, I'm not holding on to this, but I ain't going to forgive you. I some people need that to move on. For you or for Ginger here, have you guys or could you guys forgive Garett Kirts? Like, do you feel like you need to do that in order to move on? Or,
Nope.
Okay.
Well, I haven't reached that point yet of forgiveness. I'm
like, yeah, he did it, obviously, but
yeah.
I like myself, I don't need anything. It's just, are you a piece of shit to this world or are you not? I don't feel like I need to go, oh, I need to forgive you in order to move on with my life. No, you're getting exactly what you deserve. I don't forgive you. You took the lives of whatever. Go rot in hell, basically, is my thing. And whatever karma comes your way, comes your way. But some people need it, like some people do need to. Sorry, my hand hit the thing. Some people do need to.
And I have thought about it. I have thought about it because, God says we should forgive as He forgive us. But I'm not at that point yet. I have a lot of animosity toward Him that He would take my son's life, from us.
That I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I've screamed at him a few times myself. Like, what the heck are you putting me through here? You're testing me beyond, but I mean, I know that there's that expression that God never gives you more than you can, handle type of idea. But in your guys' case, especially, like I said, it's nothing compared to what's happened in my life. And I don't know, I probably have quite a few more arguments, to be honest with you, with them, because you don't understand it. Like, I mean, it's kind of like when that, you try to lead a good life or be a good person and stuff like that. And then things just keep coming at you like little darts or keep coming your way. But in this case, these are like huge, like huge things that impact the heart so badly. If we didn't have emotions, that would be one thing, but we do. And when the heart aches, it aches bad. And like I said, to put people through that type of pain, that's the part that I can't. I have a hard time with, knowing that your heart, is hurting, especially like Adam just said, just knowing that I didn't think Ray was going to truly see his justice because of them not deeming it like a crime scene. Nicole's case, I feel like like some justice definitely happened there, but nothing ever is going to take away that hurt and pain regardless. It's
there.
But at least,
but I do have to, I have to say that I have faith in God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for God, because He's given me the strength to go on.
And you've given yourself the strength as well, though, don't you? Yeah, it's a two-way street there, yeah?
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a two-way street there.
I believe in God, too, and I know it says that you're supposed to, forgive him, but I have a true hard time forgiving him for what he's done, because I've seen pictures of stuff and just picturing that in my mind, I don't find forgiveness for that.
Especially when they're not remorseful. Like, it's
one. They were all smart asses. Every one of them in Nicole's. And Dottie knows this. They were just straight up,
Yeah.
And smiling and smirking. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
You don't know how many times, if it wasn't for Mel, I probably would have went over the ledge and just went over there and probably went to jail myself. Who knows?
Right.
But it's because the way that they were being smarty pants.
Yeah.
However you want to say it.
Yeah.
How else are we supposed to feel? I know we're being tested, but how much more can you be tested, But I just don't know that. Maybe later on in life I'll forgive him, but I don't know. I don't know. Even though it says, God says that you're supposed to forgive him, I have a hard time with that. And I know that's what Dottie, she probably does too. But I believe in God. I mean, I wouldn't be here either, because I have my own issues, and I believe that he helps me battle my life, I guess, help me with the struggles and everything else. And I know that's what Dottie's thinking.
Yeah, I don't think there's any wrong or right answer there. I don't think that, you know, I think it's however you want to feel about it is and deal with it to how you need to deal with it.
Yes.
You know, is the best way. You
Yes.
know, not because it's embedded in you that this is how it's done. It's just each to their own on how they wish to deal with something.
Right.
And for me, like I said, if I had to look at somebody that took my son's life and I could tell that they were actually remorseful, that's where I could probably work on forgiveness.
Right.
You know, but knowing that I mean, the one solace in some of it is that, you know, you're you and they're pieces of shit and they're them. And they're going to go through life always being a piece of shit and hunk of shit and going to have to deal with the karma that comes their way regardless, you know? But that's part of exactly when they took, you know, the lives of people you love and literally just show no compassion or care. That's what makes it hard to forgive.
Yes.
Why should you forgive them when they don't even feel bad about what they've done?
No.
Right.
You know.
I mean, in that courtroom, it was just like Ginger said. They were so smart. They just like, hey, look, it's me. It was just like I said. I had used a cane at that time. I've got a really bad knee and bad back, and I wanted to put the trinket cane out when they walk by and trip them. It's like, it took a lot for me to keep from doing that.
You know, thank you, because you just reminded me of what I was going to ask you earlier. So in the Murder Sheets podcast a couple of years ago, you said that you saw Garett Kirts' mom and gave her a hug, and she didn't have any idea about Ray Hanish whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah. So can you kind of just give a little bit how that kind of went?
Well, you know what? That's not what you raised him to be.
Yeah, right.
And she's hurting.
Yeah.
And I do feel sorry for her.
Yeah, of course.
I can't imagine, you know, my son being like that and the pain that it must cause. It has to be causing her a lot of pain.
Of course. She's losing her son one way and you've lost your son a different way. But the fact is that you're both mothers, and no parent. Well, you know, I mean, this is the exception to the rule, but no parent is raising their kid to be like to hurt somebody else or to take somebody else's life, and then so me too. I feel bad for Garett. Like I never unless the family is literally a piece of crap themselves, like meaning that they've harmed other people. And I know that Garett Kirts' dad has had multiple charges against him for the cruelty to animals and stuff like that. But you know, and I'm sure that he hasn't, like I said, maybe been raised by maybe his father, but at the end of the day, and this probably goes out more to his mother, is that you know, her son's still alive, but he's spending pretty much his life behind bars. And if he gets convicted with raised charges, you know, that guy's going to be freaking like 70, whatever, you know? And so it's one of those things is like, so you saw her and you said you gave her a hug. And so was that kind of like the only moment that you were like saying to her, well, you know, he took my son's life as well. And she had no clue type of thing?
Yeah. Well, she said, I didn't know. I had no idea. But, you know, I guess as mother to mother is, you know, I feel that compassion.
Absolutely.
She has to be hurting. Hurting.
You know, it's totally two different things, isn't it? Like I said, there's your type of hurt for losing your son. She's lost her son. He's still alive, but his actions are a reflection, in a sense, to the family, and he's still alive. And you know, so it's a whole different, you know, it's a whole different thing. Whereas I personally don't like, for instance, Garett Kirts' family or his mom or whatever. I I don't look at them like they're to blame. In a sense, it's more just like Garett's responsible for his own actions and responsibility, right?
Right.
And so, but what I do feel bad for sometimes is when people harass the parents just because they gave birth to the son and he became a little shit face in a sense. And then the parents sometimes, like in some of these cases, get harassed and stuff like that really bad, because people can be very cruel and, displace their anger towards the parents as if they were responsible for some 20-something-year-old guy's actions, when again, like I don't know Garett Kirts' mom, but again, as a mother, I'm sure, like I said, no parent thinks that their kid's going to grow up to do such a thing. And I mean, even Peggy Garth, Ashley Garth's grandma, from everything I've heard, she's like a really nice lady, and she's had to probably get put through the ringer with taking care of Ashley Garth's child and dealing with her being in jail and, the stigma that goes along with the fact that Ashley Garth is in jail for, the murder of Nicole Bowen and same with Garett Kirts, and I feel bad for, like, say, Peggy Garth, like I said, she didn't do anything, but yet
Right. Those people are nice, actually. I mean, we don't really associate with them.
Yeah.
But we know they're feeling pain just like we do.
Yeah.
They have to,
Of course.
even though their son is still alive and their daughter's alive, they're still hurt because they didn't raise their kids to be idiots like these two.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, they're still hurt too.
You said Garett's mom and grandma were there this morning, right?
Yes. They just sat in the car, but I think it's because they probably went in and talked to Cody himself and probably told him that, they can't come up with the money maybe, or they're just not going to pay for
it. Yeah, they got money, that family, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, they're probably pretty much maxed out when it comes to lawyers for him.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, look at again, you actually just reminded me of that too. Like, look at the amount of money in that whatever that the family has to go through because of their child's actions and stuff like that. Like,
yeah. I know. I listened to something recently. It was I don't know if it was a TED talk or if it was it was a talk that Dylan Klebold's mom did, who was the shooter in Columbine.
Oh yeah. I think I heard this.
It was heartbreaking, but it was really, really interesting to hear her as a mother talk about her son took all of those lives, and to hear her talk about how she, it isn't the child she raised, it isn't the person she knew.
Right.
And it really gave me a different perspective on that aspect of, the pain that someone like, and I don't want to make this about Garett Kirts because he's a piece of shit.
Right.
But his mother's not to blame.
Yeah.
No. That was my thought. She has to be hurting. It was a mother to mother compassion that I felt, not that. I wasn't forgiving her son, but I did feel sorry for her.
Thing that I always remember is no matter what, no matter how much of a big piece of shit the child might turn out to be, that, at the end of the day, no matter if they're a serial, say, killer or not, or an SK or whatever, is that at the end of the day, there's still the mother, kind of like in the Chris Watts case. And although with the horrific stuff that he did with his children and his wife, I mean, it's like me. Could I stop loving my son, even though
Brian Kohberger?
Or Brian Kohberger, yeah, for the Idaho case and stuff like that. It's your child. You just like, some people can, but again, like, it's your child. That child you gave birth to, even in all the wrong that they might have done to other people and the pain that they've caused. As a mother, that's your child that you bore from your stomach, and and it's one of those things is no one ever wants to believe that their child is capable of it, but you're not going to stop loving them typically because
at the end of the day, you're still going to love your babies.
You're still going to love your babies. Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer's dad still loved him.
Yes.
Unconditional love is really what it is. And I guess that's where people talk about forgiveness as well, is that, it's kind of like, it's almost like the thing is that having unconditional love, that, to give forgiveness, because at the end, so I get it. I get why people feel like that. Like you have to, like that. You can't change back what happened, and you can only wish. Like you know what? And I hate to bring up this guy's name because he's a big piece of shit himself. But it's kind of like, I look at someone like Greeno, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Anthony Greeno, and it's one of those things is that, he'll get out of jail, he'll do whatever. And no matter what he does, he just doesn't change his life around for the better of the good, and it's kind of like, and there's part of me that feels sad that someone needs to keep picking the left road instead of the right road, but again, you're in charge of your own actions and thoughts. Those things you control. Nobody else does it for you, and you can't have that pity for yourself. Like people, like I said, have had, such tragic things happen to them. But at the end of the day, you're in charge of what you do, and not your parents and whatever. You're in charge. You're an adult. You're in charge of what you do. Ooh, which reminds me, did you guys ever hear that Adrian Fucci's mom that was trying to clean off the blood of her son's pants?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She got 30 days and 5 years probation. Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about, a mother's love. No matter what, she knew that her son had committed a crime. And yet for her to sit there and give up your child, it's kind of like that line that I would hate to any parent to have to face, that here your son did something horribly wrong, and yet she's trying to clean his clothes from the blood of the victim, because she knew that he would be going to jail, obviously, for a long time if convicted, which he did, obviously. But then she being a mother, that protective bear comes still there. Again, unless you're in somebody else's shoes, I can understand her pain. I would like to think that I would always do the right thing, because I've always kind of led my life as like, no, you son or not, you own up to your responsibilities. But yet I felt so bad because I knew that she was just trying to protect her son from what the worst thing, which was that he was going to go to jail for a long time. And that, like, imagine like that playing on your heart. But, so it's kind of like one of those things is like, she's got to obviously do 30 days in jail, 5 years probation, and then 3 years if she's good, which actually shows she got off pretty good. But I think it was because people can't understand that as your child, you're not trying, you know that he's done wrong, but it's unless you come.
Never know what you're really gonna do. That's the whole thing. It is your kid.
Yeah, right. Unless you're walking in somebody else's shoes, it's so easy to judge. And I didn't really actually judge her harshly because at the end of the day, she did what she did, but I understand why she did it. And because of what she did, she now has to face those consequences, obviously, for picking the wrong choice. But yet, it's your child. It's your child.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The mother's love is eternal.
Absolutely. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer here. I'm so sorry, Dottie, for the struggles that you were having. I don't know, because like Mel said that she gave you a link and you joined fine, and we'll have to figure it out for next time so that it's working, because
Right.
With StreamYard prefers that you use Safari. So so typically, like, I have an iPhone, so Safari automatically comes with it, but I don't use an iPhone. And Adam and Deb and everybody, those are the ones that, and I believe that they have iPhones as well. But you obviously got on to Mel's Live before through a link. So
yeah, somehow I don't know how. I was at home, and my grandson, I think, helped me get on there. But,
yeah.
Yeah, but I could not get it to work for me
Well,
at all.
We'll figure it out.
She's had a long day, so.
I was going to say, like, so maybe you can get your grandson to explain it to you. So for next time, you're all good to go. Because I mean,
Sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I get it. You're not a technology person per se, because you know. Nobody used technology, especially at your age, right? That came in way later on.
It's all foreign. I'm still learning. My girls are my tech support.
Yeah,
and
well,
say, Mom, figure it out. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, I really do miss the fact that I remember from Mel's Live, you know, just cute little Dottie sitting in the chair talking on live, you know, and you just, it's like someone that's very comfortable. You know, like I know with you, it's like, you know, you're easy to talk to. And Ginger, again, I'm so appreciative that you, like I said, came on as well. And I know it's hard for you as well with Nicole and all that. But again, I hope you know how much we do care about you guys. And we do just want to see justice. And, but still, regardless, the fact that you're supporting each other and that you guys have become such a, like, you guys in my hearts feel like, regardless, I know, like, even though I know that Mom loves me more than Ginger still, but I just mean that, yeah. But it's like you guys to me is, like I said, are part of this family as well, because again, we just like talking with you guys. And as things come up for Ray's case and stuff, you know, regardless, it's another live that at least puts Ray's name out there, Nicole's name out there again, you know, in memory of Nicole, so that that they don't get lost in the mix, that people still do care out there, you know, besides family members, about these people, because they're human beings, and they deserve, and some of them don't get the attention, and Ray's never did, that it deserved. But you know, what's most important is that the justice comes with that, you know.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Don't die on me, okay? Need some water?
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's funny in a way, because I know, you know, I never would have known about Ray or about Nicole if it hadn't been for Sonny and Mel, and they probably wouldn't have known about him had there not been suspicion around Garett with Delphi. So, you know, it's such a double-edged sword when some of these cases get so much attention and then other ones don't. But like in the case of Delphi, I mean, I've learned about Karina McClurkin, I've learned about Ray Hanish, I've learned about Nicole Bowen, and you know, and I have so much admiration for all of you. And you know, sadly, it's because of these horrific events. But it's sad, you know, weirdly, if it weren't for Delphi, I probably wouldn't know about any of this.
And that's exactly for me too, Dottie and Ginger. It was for Delphi, that looking into Delphi, which led me right away to Open Secrets, which got, so I always felt, and I still do, that there's certain people that are interconnected with all of them. And what was consistent was Garett Kirts and Ashley Garth. Whether or not Garett Kirts had anything to do with Delphi, you can rest assured that Garett Kirts knows who's involved in Delphi and Ashley Garth. So yeah, and so we know that Garett Kirts took Ray Hanish's life, regardless of how it has been deemed, in a sense, because obviously he admitted to it. You know, but obviously, you know, he tried to make it seem like it was an accident and stuff. And then there's Nicole Bowen, which again, they were proven. But to me, it was because of looking at Delphi that the three circled around. So whenever I was been talking about Delphi, I always had to include Ray and Nicole because of the Palladinos, because of Garett Kirts, you know, and that's how I got to know the story. But the thing with Ray's story was that his was always bits and pieces to me, you know. I was always very confused with, like I said, Ashley's phone being there to, you know, was it Garett Kirts and Ashley that was truly the people in the van that was staying, who, you know, I just didn't know the story there behind it. Whereas Nicole's was already played out and it was in the papers, and I got to learn of it more that way, you know, and just again, and then sharing some information with Ray's case that she had at the time. I remember her sending me a bunch of information with regards to Ray. And again, to me, it's hard for me to talk about one without not talking about the others, because of the Garett Kirts connection, because of the Palladinos, and the three of them just all, like I said, have intermingled together. And that's how I got. Pardon?
Sorry. Is he out? Did we ever find out? Is he out of jail?
I was looking at that the other day, Jason Palladino. I was looking at that the other day. As far as I know, he is, but I was trying to find it at him and I couldn't as of yet. I didn't overly look hard. But either way, so you guys obviously know the name Palladino. Have you heard of it before? Before, like Dottie or Ginger?
No, I had not.
Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you know Jason, Ginger?
How do I know him?
Yeah.
Didn't Garett say something about Palladino?
Yeah.
But he was never brought in for questioning. He was never nothing. So.
And I think he's out of jail.
We don't understand, why wasn't he under arrest?
Right.
Why wasn't he ever brought into court? Nobody understands that one.
No. Well, I mean, all you have to do is look at Judge Fouts. Judge Fouts has dealt with all of those guys, and he's a dirty, corrupt piece of crap himself, regardless. But I think with Jason Palladino is that the fact is that I don't think, from everything I've known, he wasn't at the trailer that day. He was like, it's kind of like the person that gives the call, but isn't participating in a sense.
Okay, wait a minute. Mark Palladino is his dad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's who Talithia, that stupid ass was with.
Yeah.
And that's her son, or his son.
Right. Jason Palladino, CJ Palladino.
Right.
And then I think there's a sister in there as well. And Talitha Beckley, Jasmine Parker. I mean, like I said, they're all just, you know, Chris Mathis. Like I said, you know, they didn't get even the time that they deserve to be served for being part of it all.
Yeah. Who calls up and says, okay, that person needs to be knocked off? What kind of person does that?
Well,
and why?
What was the big reason? What did she know that she had to be gone for?
You know, that's just it. What did Nicole know? Because like I said, in the appeal for Ashley Garth, sorry, when I don't touch my mouse, my camera goes off. In the appeal for Ashley Garth, there's that whole paragraph there talking about Nicole Bowen and about the Palladinos, and how that they had gone to his house and they had a conversation that Nicole had to go. Now, this was a couple months prior to Ray's, death himself. And so Garett Kirts, you know, said that everyone knew what was going to happen that day, like with Nicole Bowen. Right. And I knew that he meant that her demise. Everybody. Yeah. But the thing is that, like I said, so they had conversations that Nicole had to go. So what did she know? Because Garett did say that she was going to think on them about the meth lab, you know, and stuff like that. And then obviously she would have known about, you know, Ray's death as well. So, but the thing is that before Ray's death, they had talked about getting rid of her. So I don't know if her knowing about Ray's death, you know, even prompted it more so that she had to go.
I don't know neither, but I've always thought there's something else.
Oh,
why would she call me and then not tell me. She said, I'll tell you later. Why would she call me and tell me something like that? I
You
mean,
know,
Aunt Ginge, well, I need to talk to you, but I can't tell you right now. Okay. That wasn't like Nicole to do that. If she had a problem, she would call me up and tell me what her problem was. Why didn't she just tell me? Was he in the car with her? That's what I think so.
dude,
Probably.
how often? I was going to ask you, for you, Ginger, knowing that Nicole called you and that she was supposed to talk to you, how often does that run through your head of what she was going to say to you?
Dude, I can't even tell you how many times that I've done this. I've tried to pick things out of the conversation that me and her had and try to put two and two together. I get nothing. I don't understand what it was. Was it Ray? Okay. Well, she could have told me that. She could have said, "Hey, Aunt Jen," and she knew that. You know what? I was her coolest aunt, so she knew she could call me and tell me anything. I would say, "What the fuck?" But you know what? I'd still say, "Okay, what do we need to do? And who did this?" You know what I mean? That's what I would say. We need to call the cops. We need to figure out what's going on. You know. But she didn't say none of that.
What
There's a
about?
reason why she didn't tell me.
Yeah, right, exactly. There's a reason why she didn't, and it maybe just wasn't at that right particular time because she couldn't really talk about it.
Good night, Alexa. Sorry.
Oh, hey Alexa, night Alexa, I love you. So that's what I was going to ask because it was well said that Garett Kirts, even though those messages were taken down, that Garett Kirts had basically told Nicole that he was going to freaking kill her on Facebook. You know?
Oh yeah, concrete, bitch. Yeah, I trust me.
So
I've read a lot. I've seen a lot. It just doesn't make sense. Some of it just doesn't make sense. Something, the bigger piece is missing.
Yeah. So there was nothing on her social media that you could find to attach to that, like just to see any conversations that, like, what about her phone? Like on her phone, what happened to her phone?
I think her mom's got it, but nothing was ever on the phone. Like it was restarted.
It was reset.
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. Now, don't quote me, but
No.
I'm just saying. I don't think either that or maybe she didn't get the phone back at all. You know, that's what they did with my daughter's phone when they just kept it. It's like whatever, you know. So I don't remember if Cheryl told me that she had the phone or that they just kept it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they'll do that. They'll just keep the phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what, because it does make me wonder, obviously, what, it just.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Miss Dottie, did you ever get back Ray's phone and the things that were stolen?
No, they never. They said, when we had questioned it, they said that's probably in a ditch somewhere. So it's returning. We never did get the phone back.
No, I know.
The van goes up early today. He's in the cabin.
What was that?
See, I'm pretty sure then Cheryl probably didn't get Nicole's back then too. So there's a lot of information that's missing, it seems like.
It seems like the phones are the big tell-all of most cases.
Always.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, between Abby's phone and
look at all of us. I mean, all of our lives are all on our phones now.
Right.
Yeah, and I remember being sad that, like, with Ray, that I believe that, like, on Ashley's phone, that Ray and Ashley's phone were texting each other, the whole meet up on Grindr thing. I'm still not exactly sure on that, but when Chris Mathis was talking about it, Dottie, and he was like, look what they did to Ray. Like, why did they have to take it that far? Because I remember Chris Mathis saying to Open Secrets, like, look what they did to Ray, Ray Hanish. They stalked him on Grindr, and then he's like, did he tell you that story? He goes, and why? Why did they have to take it that far? And he said they, right? Why did they have to take it that far? And I'm thinking, like, yeah, Ashley,
Yeah.
like Ashley, not Nicole, Ashley. I can't, for some reason, I can't picture, like I said, Ginger, like, I mean, obviously she was probably going to be telling you stuff about it.
Yes.
Can I
I
ask
just feel
you,
like she was going to tell me something. It
Ginger,
was either, I feel like she was going to tell me more than she would her sister, Brittany. I don't think she would, I don't know.
how did you come across Garett Kirts? How did her and Garett end up going out?
Okay, so Nicole was in jail, and she was in like a work release program, her and him, and that's where they met.
Okay.
So that I do know, because I used to deliver stuff down there. So down at the work release program.
Okay.
So yeah, I used to take stuff into her and give her sandwiches and stuff like that when I was there. But she just said that she found somebody. She'd been seeing some guy off and on, and he's really hot and everything. And I'm like, okay, that's a niece talking to her aunt. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, they've seen each other for a while, and she never brought him to my house or anything. Thank God. Of course, I didn't know him then, like everybody knows him now.
Yeah.
But, she just said he was a new guy, and they were getting along. They would go and do karaoke and stuff like that, because that's what Nicole loved doing, was karaoke. She'd go sing. So I don't even know, like after that, it kind of faded off, and she kind of faded away for a little while, for a little bit, because she'd come and go. That was our Cole. That's what Cole did.
Yeah.
She'd come and then go, and but if she had issues, she knew she could call Aunt Ginge. That's what I was for.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to share that with Mom, so she would share stuff with Aunt Ginger. So that I do know. That's where they met, was at a work release program.
Yeah. It's just, when I think of Nicole, it's kind of like I realize that obviously, she didn't necessarily lead the perfect life. We all know that, but
But she was working on it. She was cleaning up and trying to get away from everything.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like I said, Garett Kirts he reminds me of the Tasmanian devil, someone that just swirls into people's lives, destroys them, takes their lives, and again, just, carries on as if, so when that statement was made to Unopened Secrets, like, I loved her to death. That makes me, that remark will always be engraved in my head. It's like,
it will always be stuck in her mom's head too.
Yeah.
It'll always be stuck in our heads. How dare you say something like that?
I don't know if he purposely said that the way he did, or if it just was a slip, because that is a term that people say, like, I loved her to death. People have said that for sure. It's just kind of like one of those expressions. But there's that.
Well, he kind of said that about Ashley too.
Yeah, great.
And I'm like, why is it something normal for him to say stuff like that? How stupid.
Because is he smart enough to be that calculated to say something like that?
I know.
Or would he say it because it's what his little brain's like? Oh,
right.
Yeah. Like I said, that one will always stay in my head for that, because it was the most, it's like that play on words, and I'm just like, dude, really? Did you just say that? Loved her to death, and
well, he kind of did the same thing in court too, and when he did, Cheryl turned every color of red that she could, because she was fuming so bad.
Yeah.
And all I could do was hold her hand, because she kept getting tighter holding my hand. And I'm like, oh my God, my hand's going to break, because she's that furious right now. And she's like, did you just hear what that bastard said? And I said, yeah, I did. But you're killing my hand right now. But I mean, yes. I mean, I couldn't believe he said it neither. I'm like, why would you say that? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody does that, you know. They don't say that like that.
You know,
so
yeah. You know, I mean, and coming out of his mouth, I mean, honestly, it's like verbal diarrhea, to be honest with you. The words are impactful, but yet, you know, by the same token, it's kind of like with Garett Kirts, anything runs out of that guy's mouth. He's a piece of shit, you know. And so that's why it's kind of like, as much as those words were the stupidest words that came out of his mouth, they're the most ignorant words. By the same token, like, look who it's coming from.
Right.
You know, and and what was I going to say? Sorry, I was going to say something to Dottie here. Again, Dottie. Yeah, you know me. All of a sudden, the brain runs off there.
I understand.
No,
it's just, these people are sick and twisted, and nobody is the same, you know. They aren't, but these people are twisted and just, I've never seen a bunch of people show up to court and smirk and smile and have a good old time, and it's like, really? Because you're getting ready to go bye-bye.
Yeah.
You know, have fun, because when you get behind those bars, you're going to be somebody's prison bitch now.
I was going to say, you know, it's kind of like in my head, it's kind of like, again, you're on the outside. He has to go back to prison. He has to go back to jail. And it's one of those things. Either someone can let it bug him knowing that he's a piece of shit and you know, having a smirk on his face. And I'd probably just sit there and go, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
That's kind of what Cheryl did. So she's like, yeah.
I'm here, you're in there, and you know, you're going through what you're going through for how many years? You know, sucks to be you. Like, well, obviously, you know what I mean? I guess what I'm trying to say is, I never like to let someone have control over me, or in a sense, I like to control exactly what's going on. You're not gonna, like, words, those type of things. Sure, they can be hurtful, but chances are I'm not gonna let you know that they're hurting, that they hurt me, because I'm gonna be too busy going, see ya, bye, asshole, have a good day. You know,
and Dottie knows, when we sat in there, that was one thing. We're not going to let you see how much you're hurting us. We're not going to allow you to
try to
see any kind of emotions from us, because you're not going to get it from us.
Yeah.
You know, you're just going to go bye-bye, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I think that they're smart and smug, you know. And like I said, so if you allow them to they will, because they'll think that they're doing it. Whereas, like I said, that's why like I said, for me, I don't like anyone to have that type of control. I won't allow it, because again, it's like, look, I like who I am. You know, you're the piece of shit.
I mean, we were really close. You don't know how exactly close we was to these people, to where you could absolutely, by the end of your elbow, from your shoulder to your elbow, you could reach them. You could just simply just reach out and touch them. I mean, that's how close they was to my son. Anybody coming in that through that aisle there, anybody could have reached out and just grabbed a hold of them. You know what I mean? That's how small this courtroom was.
Yeah.
And Dottie knows, you know, that, we were right there. So, and now that we're over at the other courthouse, it's a little bigger.
Yeah.
And, we'll be sitting there with Miss Dottie. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I know, like I said, Dottie, I can't remember what I was going to say something to you again with regards to Ray, but, I know what I did want to say, Dottie. Because this put a smile to my face too, because when I was in the hospital, myself and my husband, we were general managers of a hotel, and the hospital was literally across the street in Alberta, in Lloydminster. And Lloydminster is half in Alberta and half in Saskatchewan. It lies between two provinces. So it's the only place in Canada that literally it's in 2 provinces anyway. So I was really sick. I was in the hospital, and from the hotel, we would ask the nurses, hey, do you guys need some small shampoos? Because, in hotels, you have small shampoos and hand creams and that. But anyways, before we left, we literally ordered everyone pizzas because we would get our pizzas half price for the hotel discount. So when you were telling me that story about how Ray did that, again, I remember me and my husband, we did the same thing for the nurses because, just do an act of kindness and just buy them all pizza. And we gave them a ton of toothpaste and hand creams and different things because we could, because we just wanted to show them the appreciation for the care that I was given while I was in the hospital. I mean, there was the odd nurse that can kiss my ass, but for the most part, they were like, they're like, seriously, there's some people that are nurses that should not be nurses. But regardless, 90% of them were just very caring and whatever. And it was just a way to give back. Like, thank you. People sometimes forget to do things, like as kind as that. Like, here you go. Thank you. So when you told me that story about Ray, I was just like, yeah. I mean, like I said, your son, just an aura, just a beautiful, beautiful aura around him. And regardless, can't bring him back. Hopefully he gets the justice. But first and foremost, I'm sorry that you guys have had to suffer at the hands of others. But by the same token, watching you guys be so strong and going through all this over the years that you've had to deal with it. And again, I mean, I know Nicole's has been dealt with in a way, and there's no justice really. But at least Garett and Ashley being in prison is stopping them from outside hurting somebody else.
Agreed. Yes.
That's the solace of a little bit. That sometimes, the life was taken, but now those two don't have the chance unless they want to take somebody else that's out in prison. Go right ahead, But
if the police had really followed up on Ray's murder, they could have prevented Nicole's.
Absolutely.
They could have prevented.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I mean, you never know, right? Because obviously, you don't know. Because Palladino's, if it came down from Palladino and he wasn't charged, you never know, right? You'll never know the answer. But
had they followed up and found Kirts, they could have prevented Nicole's.
I know, and it's just ridiculous. Honestly, though, when you think about it, it's just ridiculous that Ray. So you guys found him, I believe, on the 17th, but you believe it was the 13th, if I'm not mistaken, of March. And Nicole's was March. I always get it backwards. 30th, March 30th, right? I think I had March 31st in my head for a while there, and that's like I said, 2 weeks apart. 2 weeks apart. And Garett Kirts has taken Nicole's life, and then 2 weeks later, like I said, it's like a recluse. It's like they were just, it does make me wonder how many other people with Grindr that they stole from, and maybe if they hurt somebody else as well, that was never accounted for or something. If I believe what Mike Little said when he was like, I don't think it was a nurse. It was a guy. He was like a doctor or lawyer or something. So I thought to myself, but anyway.
I always thought he killed his friend too on that bike.
Oh, some people have thought that as well, right? I mean, like I said, with Garett Kirts, you take it with a grain of salt, and then throughout all the shit that comes out of their mouth, you try to find that part that you believe.
Right.
And a lot of things that I do believe is that Garett Kirts, besides being involved in Ray's and Nicole, is that he absolutely knows about Delphi, and that him and Ashley and more do. And that he knows it. Again, and it's just reading through all of their shit that's been said. But I'd like to see it, the Jason Palladino, and if there's any involvement with there, which I believe there is myself. That's just speculation, but still, there's a lot of things to point towards the Palladinos. And
it's all coincidental, right?
it's just all right, just small town America. Now tomorrow night, you guys, Kagan Klein, if you guys have ever been paying attention to that, Kagan Klein gets his sentencing tomorrow for his 25 charges of,
Chomo.
yeah, trauma. Yeah. So that's happening tomorrow morning, I think at 9 o'clock as well, for that. So, little by little, it's great to see that Karina McClurkin, Flint Farmers, that he's in jail. And if is guilty of everything, that, he gets rightfully charged. It's nice to see that Ray Hanish, that Delgado, prayers to Delgado for, being a proper man.
Right.
A proper man, and loving your family, to, like I said, to do this for you guys, and instead of the other piece of shit. Sorry, I'm just going to call him that, because that's what he sounds like to me. Someone that just didn't care.
He didn't.
Yeah, unless it was his own child, then it would be different. We all know that. So it's really nice that with Delgado, that the charges have been, that Garett Kirts has been indicted on charges for Ray's.
I'm so happy too. I'm so happy for Dottie.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, nothing's going to bring it back, but you know what? Fight for justice. And it's amazing too, like even with the Idaho, right? Like I know like that in Idaho, the Idaho 4, that like for Ethan's family, they have like the sunflower. Is it a sunflower?
Tulips.
No, tulips.
Tulips, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that out of something really sad, beautiful things can happen. You guys gained a friendship, together, to the point, like I said, you feel like Dottie is like, your mother to you, and you got sisters to go with it. And, so it's an honor, honestly, that you guys came on the live, that you guys come talk about your story.
Absolutely.
I mean, I personally love it, because I feel like talking is healing, and it allows you to have a voice and an outlet to this world web that is good in a lot of ways and really bad in other ways.
Right.
But yet it allows people to know, first of all, Nicole, because back in the day, nobody would have known more than just a newspaper write-up.
Right.
This way, there's so much technology now that you can truly keep someone's memory alive. You can make videos, you can do so much things. But anyways, I just want to say we love you guys and appreciate you guys for joining us today. And Miss Dottie will get that crap straightened out for next time, eh?
Yeah. We appreciate you doing what.
Yes, we do.
Getting our message out. It helps. It really helps.
Oh no, we're the ones that are grateful, in all honesty, because if it wasn't for people like you guys that are strong, that come on, and I can see my face is a little bit blurry here, but that you guys come on. So I think it's a win-win in a sense that way for me. It's like, I really enjoy helping people. I know Adam does too, Deb does, and then just the fact that when somebody agrees to come on as well, it just, for me, it's always the most impactful when the family member is speaking for themselves, and that it's not coming, right? That it's from your hearts. These are your children, your niece, your family members. That's the most impactful thing that anyone can have when it comes to somebody's story.
Right.
Is hearing it from your guys' own lips and mouths. And
well, if it wasn't for you guys, the word wouldn't get spread out as much. So that's why we're grateful too, because the more you guys come on and you show the stories with us, and help us out, more people find out that, this guy is really just, a piece of shit. And, it just shows everybody.
Yeah.
What we can do by word of mouth, this is a whole lot better, and it does. It spreads the word for us.
Well, to me, it's a win-win. And if there's one thing I cannot stand is, okay, sometimes with cases and stuff like that, there's people I've talked to, and then I'll keep in touch with them still and say, and it might be a couple months down the road, and I'll say, hey, how's this person doing? For me, I would never want to be ever known as someone that just uses anybody just for a story or for a click or a view and stuff like that. that I don't care if it's a case that's not well known or if it is well known, that at the end of the day that you're doing it. Doesn't matter. You're just simply doing it because you're just following your heart with how you do things, and never will anything ever be just to go, hey, let me get some clicks and views and a story out of this, and use people for that purpose. Never.
Right.
You know. So for me, and I know Adam too, like you guys, like I said, you guys are like that family that for me it's like, okay, you guys come back on alive, come on, join us, come sit with us, hang with us. You know,
especially since neither of us live in Indiana.
yeah.
I want to thank you so much, Adam, for bringing this on, and because it's for us it's over 4 years, and people lose interest in this. Well, that's got to be done by now. Nobody, surely it's been taken care of, but they don't realize it's an ongoing thing, and you get the news out for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? Like I said, mad love and respect for you, Dottie and Ginger, and Cher.
Anything you need, because I know there's not another hearing for Ray until August, but Dottie or Ginger, anything you need, you can always reach out to Sunny and I, or Mel, of course.
Well, as long as Dottie keeps reminding me that and says that I'm sexy, and that I'm her favorite daughter, then sure. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Look
Well, I always say that. So.
Yeah, you don't really want to fight a Ginger, do you? No. Hey, Ginger, just to quickly ask you, I know that you had to go to the hospital not a while back there. How is your health right now? Just to ask you.
Well, I'm doing this again.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what that is whatsoever.
It's right. While you're sitting there toking on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing a lot better now.
Are you? Good,
Yeah.
Good.
It was quite the test, though. It was scary, and I ended up staying there a few days. So
yeah, because you didn't expect
I
to.
learned my lesson, I think, but I still need to learn this one.
Yeah. YOLO, okay?
One day at a time.
Well, it's what I was gonna say. It's one of those things. Like at the end of the day, whatever you do, whatever you is do
for
you.
a long time. So
yeah,
it's a lot. It's a hard habit to break.
Ginger, when I went into the hospital, it's almost been 2 years. I honestly, I still have a pack of smoke somewhere in this house. And I just asked my husband the other day, husband, do you remember when I was in the hospital and I had a pack of smokes? Not that I wanted them, because I preferred the vape. I didn't at first, but honestly, I'm glad it doesn't really stink. And I could just I can even take it into a movie theater and be like,
right.
But anyways.
I've tried those. I don't know how anybody does those. So.
I felt the same way at the start, but honestly, I'll tell you what sold me on this sucker is that, and honestly, this is worse than a cell phone, okay? Mm-hmm. Because this thing comes with me to the bathroom, to bed. It just is there. It's like my best little buddy that's there whenever I want it. It doesn't stink. My husband doesn't complain about it. Actually, if anything, he says it smells like cardboard because it's the nicotine in there. But it's the fact that I literally can just, go into the bathroom. I could go into the bathroom at work and be like, and no one would even know I didn't smell like anything. And I was just like, you are, so I gave up smoking, like I said, and I actually don't miss it because this has become my best friend. Like to this.
Right.
So I get it. It's not an easy habit again, but it's just once I realized it's like a car salesman. I'm just, all the wonderful things this can do, like a best buddy traveling with you in your hand.
Are you trying to sell me it or what?
I know, right? Are you getting money from this, Sunny?
Yeah. Well, there's times where I've just had this in because I use my phone as my wallet because whatever. And then sometimes I have this, right? But it doesn't sit nice. And I usually don't have things that have pockets. So this thing will end up in my bra, and I'll just put it there. Like
our pockets, right? Yeah. Our upper pockets.
But anyways, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Me and Adam are just going to finish up here with a couple more things to do with the Delphi quickly, and then we're going to head off ourselves out of here.
Well, we appreciate you.
Oh,
it's all about me. But next Wednesday, I'm getting a knee replacement.
Oh.
So a few prayers out there will help. I'm happy because I've got so much pain in my knee. So I'm happy to have it, but I'm a little bit worried about it too. So
absolutely. I mean, there's nothing fun about that crap, right? Regardless, right? Yeah. But you know what? Yeah. If in the long term, it's more of a life changer for you, then that's a good thing. So yes, so you guys, prayers to Dottie. Yeah, prayers to Dottie, you guys, on her knee replacement next Wednesday. And because you had to, it got rescheduled, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
It got rescheduled.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, Dottie. So again, we'll check on you and see how that went for you. Once you're feeling a little bit better. But thank you so much, Ginger. Thank you, Dottie. Thank you, Cher. Is Cher in chat? Or well, she's probably just listening to you, isn't she?
I never saw Cher in here tonight. She's probably sleeping.
No, well, Dottie's with Cher right now, I believe.
Yeah, she's sleeping. She had a long day. So she's sleeping.
Is that what you said earlier?
You've all had a long day.
I'll fill her in.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay, so I'm gonna hang up on you here, Dottie. I know that you love me more than Ginger, so I'm good with that. No, have a good night. Yeah, hugs and kisses. Bye, Dottie. Bye, Ginger.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye,
Good night, Ginger.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I mean, it was a rough start today, but it got going, whatever. Sorry, you guys, again, for the delay in tonight's live. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not going to stress about it. It's one of those things.
I'm really grateful for Ginger and Dottie because both of them were so gracious and they were so open. And, I mean, there were definitely a few times that I had be like, clenched my fists together just to kind of like, and dug my nails into my palms to try to get myself together because we can't understand what they're going through.
No, so. I know it's like sometimes if people think I'm smiling, it's not a smiling because whatever. It's just a smile of when somebody's telling a story and then inside your heart is feeling like I don't know, just like the love. And when she was talking about the pizza, about Ray and stuff like that, I could just picture it, and so it just makes me smile hearing those type of things. And
just them talking about the forgiveness was because I mean that's just so human, but where I don't want to expect all that, I'm just grateful that they came on and such cool, I would say badass women.
You know what?
Sorry, Miss Dottie, for saying badass, but I would call them both pretty badass women.
That was almost what I was going to say in the intro. I was literally going to say those words. Get the hell out of my brain, because I was literally going to say, Sonny, you are talking really, really fast. I don't think I'm talking any differently than normal. Am I talking faster? Take it, Fibro. I mean, I talk fast normally, I think, don't I? But anyways, if I, and yeah, I'm hot. I'll tell you that much. I wouldn't say I'm wired. That's for sure. But maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. No, just kidding. Was I just saying, I was going to say the same thing about the badass thing. So don't mind it. Well, see, the faster I talk, Fibro, then the faster you guys can get out of here, eh? What I wanted to bring up just quickly was obviously with Delphi. So tomorrow, Adam, let's discuss this quickly while we're live. So what are we doing tomorrow with Kagan Klein thing? Are we going live, like during the day there and updating on the Twitter or whatever is coming out? What are we doing exactly?
What time is court? 9? What time is it? 11?
Hey? Ooh, what time's that my time? That's like 8 my time, eh? Well, not at 9 o'clock. Yeah. It's not so much me because me. I can do whatever. It's more about you, really.
I'm sure I can make whatever work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keegan being sentenced. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Because bottom line is, and I don't like, I think Anthony Greeno said something like, I'm going to be like going live from the courtroom. Dude, no cameras are allowed in there. So you're going to be outside of that courtroom or like.
I thought he quit.
No, right. Come on now. That's like saying asshat quit or anybody else. I mean, how many times have we heard that stuff? You know, it wasn't true. You know, it wasn't going to happen.
I didn't see any of it.
I know. Sorry, but whenever somebody says that they're quitting, never believe them. You know, like it's like 1% chance that they actually do it. They all do that. It's like a poor me syndrome thing that goes on with those people. But anyways, so yeah.
Yeah. Especially now that Keegan doesn't have Holly right there by his side. It's like what will happen in life?
Yeah. No, his back again begging for money. Yeah, that would sound about right. That's right. Like yeah. And this is what I'm saying, right? Like a decent human being. Just be, Greeno he could have been, right, so successful if he just used those God-given gifts that he was given. Women, like I said, I don't want to get into the whole Greeno thing, but bottom line is that you catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And, there's nothing so wrong. Just take the right path.
And just not stealing from families.
And yeah.
I'm not saying him, just.
But the thing is that multiple times to change, and then he reverts back to his. I've seen his comments. Like I didn't see Mel's live. I didn't even know she was live. But I seen a few comments later when I went back to it. About him smack, like if the real Greeno would come smack you in the mouth and stuff like that, right? So again, the true colors just keep coming through because he can't resist, right? And it just really boils down to a poor me syndrome, like he's the victim and everything. No, you're making yourself the victim, dude. Again, if you just treat people right and you go through life being a good person, like I said, your life will flourish for you. You don't have to try. Okay, honey, just give me a couple more minutes. That's my husband saying, baby, I'm going to face plant. My husband's really tired up apparently. But anyways, so, yeah, like I said, never believe them when they said they're going to quit. But again, each to their own. People do what they do. And it's just whatever, It's just really, for me, it's just really heartbreaking inside when you see that there's so much potential in somebody and yet they're not using it, to the best of their abilities. I thought you have to use them to the best of your abilities, but like I said, if you're a decent person, you're going to get subs and you're going to get money given to you by people that care about you. But the minute you start offending women and telling them that you're going to smack their mouth and you're going to do this, oh yeah, right. So, like I said, for all those people that want to follow Greeno, go right ahead. I have more respect for myself than to do that. Because again, for me, I'm not one of those female activists, but in saying that, in that way, but for that, bottom line is that I don't put up with sitting there, a guy hitting, abusing females or talking like that. Whether it's the vice versa, the female talking like that to the guy, same thing. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. Simple as that. Doesn't mean you're.
Some people never seem to be able to get out of the way of their own feet.
Yeah. So again, it's his life and he does what he does. And again, other people can follow him and kiss his butt, or they can be smart and realize that, you should respect yourself a little bit more. You can't even, no one could ever justify to me that, hey, I'm going to follow Greeno for his content. Because and I'm going to put all my morals to the side because I would rather hear the content. I'm sorry. Morals are morals, if, type of thing. If someone's abusive to a female and you know that they're a manipulator and then you're in there supporting them, what does that say? Yeah. To me, what does that say?
I get a soft spot for people sometimes, but it's just, there's no reason to always, some people just, I guess, have to take the hardest road possible.
His is very hard and very bumpy.
And I'm like, it's unnecessary. And sadly, when you leave people in your path of destruction, you start to lose empathy from people, and before you know, you don't have anyone left. And,
well, one second, Adam. It's just the same song and dance, right? It's like you can't teach a dog new tricks. You can't lead them to water and make them drink, type of thing. So at the end of the day,
and I'm not going to talk about. I don't really know that. I don't know that person. I'm not going to really say anything. But just actually, that's what I think about the whole thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I was having a vape there. My husband needs to go to bed too, but I can't be asked for people like that. I can't. Right? Be a good person, be decent, be nice, and whatever. You stab me in the back and whatever and stuff like that, and put your ego in the way. Like I said, kiss my ass. I'll go this way, you can go that way, and stuff like that. Anyways, what we were going to quickly talk about was just the Richard Allen thing. Obviously, there was the restraining order, the temporary restraining order. Adam, what conclusion did you kind of come up with that you possibly think has for that?
The Carroll County Clerk's Office hates me.
Hates me too. Didn't send me nothing either. Okay?
No, I don't know. I mean, I heard some very conflicting things. I really honestly don't know. It's safe to say it's something that has clearly to do with the Delphi case, because if it was a civil suit, it would have been listed under a different case number. But is it a person? Is it an entity? Is it trying to suppress something with some of the subpoenas we heard about? I don't know. Is it a medical person at the facility? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to know. I got very vague answers from everywhere I looked today. So.
I mean, I'm kind of one of those ones. It's one of those things like, we'll hear it when we, need to. And if somebody happens to slip out the actual answer, so be it.
I don't think it's wife Lilith. I don't think that it's, a YouTuber they're trying to keep from contacting him, because they would just take him off his list of people. So it has to be someone that has either direct access to him through physically being in the same space as him, or someone that's in the judicial system that has access to him through the judicial system. So,
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's one of those things like wasn't much to talk about with it.
Or is it just a tactic from the defense?
Yeah. Even though I'm only going to bring this up just because it did make me laugh when Adam brought it up and Deb too. So, and if you guys come across this, so if you guys remember last year, and I'm going to thank Frank for this, because back last year, Frank had sent us the unredacted version of Ron Logan's affidavit. And in that unredacted affidavit was about the sock and the undergarment. Okay, this isn't new news. This is old news. But I think, and I don't understand this, because to me it was always big news, and I've brought it up quite a few times. Especially, sometimes even I forget about it as well. So the affidavit, like I said, came out last year. I did videos on it about Kagan Klein. See, what happened is that Kelly Brown had this letter, 12-page letter from Kagan Klein, and in it was talking about his sock addiction. Right. And so, Frank, like I said, at this point in time, I remember he's sent me like this 12-page affidavit, an unredacted thing from Ron Logan over Messenger. And that's instantly what caught my eye was about sock, and how Kagan Klein and Kelly Brown's letter had this sock addiction. And it's things like that. So this isn't new news, but it might be new news to some people, or they just simply forgot about it. Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess some people didn't have one page of the search of the page 3, and I guess Frank didn't have it, because I guess I didn't realize that it was missing.
No, Frank did have it.
Not not at the other document. There were two things. There was the affidavit and there was the search warrant. And the page 3 from that everyone thought was missing was from the search warrant.
Right.
Or the police report. But so I guess Frank got that yesterday. And we've had it for a long time. So I didn't know it was missing.
No, Frank sent that to me. It wasn't missing. The only reason why I knew about the sock,
not the sock and panty. Not that. I'm talking about the other, the missing page 3 thing was the other part. The unredacted, what's the word? PCA. That was, that was sent to us a long time ago. But it's this other thing that everyone is saying is new.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the interview.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That's whatever. I guess we didn't realize that people didn't have. They thought that there was a missing page because we've had it for so long.
Right. Okay. But like I seen my TikTok go off and it was like, and then there was like the Ron Logan interview. Like I don't remember seeing before. I don't recall because we've seen so much paperwork. We never seen that before, right?
We've seen it.
The one where it's talking about the fish and going into the store.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we have actually, haven't we?
Yes.
Yes. You're right. We have. Okay. Gotcha. See, I guess we just see so much paperwork, and then, like I said, things to move on and stuff like that. But you guys, again, with Kagan Klein, don't forget about the freaking sock thing, because sock and undergarment, and Kagan Klein has a freaking sock fetish. And let's just go into him changing his Facebook, talking to Libby, blah 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 blah. There's a connection there. That whole sock thing, that's just weird. Okay. Sock missing, because remember, you guys see a pink sock in the water and something like that. So whoever's sock was missing, but I'm sure that was part of the deal. Get me a sock. Anyways, so for people that didn't know about it, yeah, and like I said, so it was only the fact that Kagan Klein literally said he had a sock addiction and 200 pairs, just like that. I remember that. And then when you take that with the sock that was missing, and undergarment, I'm sure that probably the undergarment was for probably Richard Allen, and and the sock was for Kagan Klein, and little ornaments and whatever else. Either way, yeah. So old news, but I know, like with anything, people kind of forget about stuff. But people that do remember the socks do. But as for the other paperwork too, it's kind of like it's like I remember seeing it now, but I'm pretty sure because I remember the story of I don't know, you guys, it all gets twisted in my head too. Yeah, there's just so much information and paperwork out there nowadays. Like for instance, I have like for Adam, when I sent him like the thing again, I was like, I had to go back up Frank's thing and like scroll back months and months and months ago just to sit there and re-download them, because even though I have them downloaded, it was just easier to go back to Messenger and go, yeah, I know we have the unredacted version because I remember Frank sent that to me, So hey, on that one, yeah, I'm just gonna say this, my last little thought for tonight myself, and then we'll get going because tomorrow, Frank, I'm not gonna get into it, whatever, but I'm just gonna say this. I'm glad you have your own channel and you're doing your own thing. And yeah, so some people might not know that backstory, but whatever. I'm glad that Frank has moved on and the freedom to do what Frank wants to do, lives, be himself, whatever, so I'm glad to see that has happened for sure. So anyways, Frank, all right, love you again. Right, Grandma Soros? I'm pretty sure that Grandma Soros likes her name because I'm pretty sure she could have changed it by now. They're both monsters. Yeah, they are both monsters, Stephanie. Anyways, that's about it, Adam? We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess tomorrow we find out the sentencing, going on. for Kagan Klein, and I guess we'll finally get to see if it's 10 years, 15 years. But you know what? Okay. You know what? So Lewis sent this link, right? And I was talking all about this whole dark web and CSAM stuff, and from back whenever, and how even recently, like the guy had just put it up a couple days ago. Anyways, it's crazy, the charges that, or the amount of felonies that some of these people had, and they only got like 25 years, 10 years. Like one guy got 25 years, and I think it was knocked down. Oh no, it was got 40, knocked down to 25. And these guys had over 100 and something charges. Okay. Yeah. And so I'm not going to be surprised if Kagan Klein has already been in jail for, since 2020. 2020?
Yes. 2020.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll be amazed if he gets more than 10 years. Less time served, So we'll see how it goes tomorrow, guys. Either way, again, people like Kagan Kleins of the world, that prey on the young ones. Everyone just deserves their justice of what they're doing. You don't, just like you don't mess with cats, you don't mess with children. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. That thing that Lewis sent, I listened to the whole thing. Just disgusting. Disgusting what they were doing to children. Disgusting. But anyways, you guys.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for again for the late start tonight. And thank you to Dottie and to Ginger. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And you guys have a great night, guys. And thanks to Michigan for the $10 super chat. Appreciate that.
So much for that.
Okay, guys. Take care. And we're going to do our little outro, wherever that is. Oh, there it is. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.